The video is about to start, but I forgot to say this, so I'm adding it in now. You can get your own Kendo is Life mask, just like this one. It's at our Teespring store. There's a link in the description. Don't forget. Don't get one. They're pretty cool. Kendo is Life. Hi folks, it's Andy and welcome to this week's Kendo Rant. Okay, as you can see, I'm just sat at my desk recording this one. I couldn't get in the studio today, sorry about that. I'm sure you'll forgive me. We've got plenty of questions to get through today, some really great ones. You'll have to excuse my voice as well being a little bit hoarse, as I just finished doing the voiceover, well, the sort of filmed another video today, which was a kind of webinar about it's the ultimate guide to Kendo Boga. So that should be live, probably it should already be live now in the early access group, and it will be due to go fully live here on YouTube and stuff on Monday. So if you're not in the early access group and you want to see that video, it's quite a long one, it's about an hour long, then you need to get in the early access group. There's a link in the description, it's free to join. Get in that group is a great place to be in, and that's where all these questions have come from that we answer in Kendo Rant. And what's great about that is it's a community of thousands of Kendoka from around the world of all different levels. So you don't just get my feedback here on Kendo Rant, but you get, people chipping in, and a dialogue sort of happens on there as well. So it's a really great place to be. So get in that group if you aren't already. Don't forget as well to click you can't just click subscribe. It doesn't mean anything if you do that. You have to go down there, you have to click that bell if you want to get better at Kendo. I told you this secret last week, but that's the Improve at Kendo bell. And you really need to use that if you want to get better at Kendo. If you go and click that bell, then I guarantee within the next 6 to 12 months, you'll get better at Kendo in some capacity. Okay, so go and click that, the Improve at Kendo bell. Right, we've got plenty of questions. Before we jump into them, you know what I'm going to say. Go and shop at KendoStar. It's a fantastic website that I own that sells amazing, fantastic Kendo equipment. KendoStar.com. It's brilliant. Go and shop there. All right, it's amazing equipment. I shouldn't need to say this every time, but if you haven't been to KendoStar and shopped there already, or like if you've done worse and you've gone and shopped somewhere else, well, the joke's on you, because you're going to come back and shop with us when you realise how much better we are. Okay, so let's get into these questions. I'm going to take a sip of water before we do. Okay, hi Andy. When I apply Hara in EI or Kenjutsu, because of the muscles used to breathe, the breath is stopped and I cannot ki until the Hara is released a little. How then is ki deemed part of Yuko Datotsu and Kikentai no Ichi if one cannot breathe when striking? I understand your expertise in Kendo and not the other arts, but is the ki dependent on how long the Hara is applied? For instance, I hit with Tenoichi held for a short time rather than cutting through, so requiring a longer application. What muscle groups do you use for Hara? Many people only consider the front and too high. As Kendo no kata is essentially Kenjutsu kumitachi, one would assume that it should be like the other Koryu kumitachi also. So are different or less Hara muscles used in Kendo, or are they just applied more for a shorter period to a lesser extent than say 80% at their zenith? I'd very much appreciate your thoughts on that. Wow, that's a great question to kick off with, isn't it? Ooh, that's a deep one. Right, well, first off, I'm not entirely sure what the concept of applying Hara is, if I'm honest with you. I don't do EI or Kenjutsu, I know nothing about those arts. So I'm not going to comment as to whether Kendo no kata is essentially Kenjutsu kumitachi, because I don't know what Kenjutsu kumitachi is. Now, Hara in Japanese means abdomen. That's all it means. It means this area. I don't want to put it on camera because it's not looking in great shape thanks to lockdown. But that's the Hara. Yeah, that's why they say harakiri for seppuku. When they kill themselves with the. It's a word that refers specifically to an a part of the body. I'm not sure how you apply it in EI or Kenjutsu, but in terms of how you should be breathing, the ideal right? And I'm talking at like, this is something I'm getting into thinking about. Now I'm like at Rokudan, moving towards Nanadan, 6th Dan, going towards 7th Dan. So for sort of before that, I don't think it's a massive thing you need to worry too much about. But ideally, you first have your first kakegoe, yeah, outside of the cutting distance, yeah, and then you hold that, and then semi, and you're still holding your breath, semi, man, and that's when, bam, that tension that you've held in there that's been sort of boiling, that's when it all just goes bam like that. That's the kind of way it's supposed to be, to my understanding. It's the same in kata as well, except you don't have the first yeah like that in kata. You just kind of breathe in and then step in, 1, 2, 3, yeah, or 1, 2, 3, to. Yeah, it's the same sort of feeling. So I'm not sure in terms of the Hara muscles and stuff like that. I don't think you need to think about it in that much depth, personally. So yeah, I think that's the best I can give on that. Yeah. Okay, next one. Hello, how tall should a mune be? If the door is at the right height, should the tsukidare lean against it, or should it fit with the curve of the mune? So the mune of the door is the chest protector, which you'll know all about, obviously, if you've seen the Ultimate Guide to Kendo Boga. But it dips like that, right? So it depends from person to person. There's no hard and fast rule as to where it should sit or what have you. For most average height males, there's a small gap between the top of the dip in the mune and the bottom of the ago. It's not designed to overlap like that. It doesn't have to overlap. However, for shorter people or for some females, that's inevitable, and obviously for kids as well. So yeah, you don't need to have like a really tiny mune or a really massive mune. One of the things as well is, like, if you're really, really tall, it's okay to have a bigger gap here between the top of the mune and the bottom of the ago. You don't always need a custom door, even, unless you're exceptionally tall, and you're doing it for the sake of balance, then there's no need for it. All right, because the size of the datotsubui, the place where you hit, is the same no matter how tall you are. So it doesn't follow that you would lose protection if more of this area was exposed, because the size of the area is the same that they're supposed to be aiming for, right? So yeah, it depends on the person, but it's not designed to be overlapping. Okay, so but it doesn't matter if it does. Next one. Hi Andy, how often or when should we get a new bogu, besides when it's broken, of course? Should you even keep a good and nice set for Shinsai and Shiai? So how often you should get one? You get one whenever you feel like it. Obviously, if it's battered and broken, like you said, then yeah, it's best to replace it. But it depends how invested you are in your own kendo journey, really, and how often you practice. If you practice more than twice a week, I recommend you have more than one bogu set. Certainly, if you practice more than 3 times a week, you should have more than one bogu set. And you should definitely have, if you practice more than twice a week, you should definitely have more than one pair of kote. And that's so that you can alternate them, so that you'll get a longer life out of both sets. Or if you practice much more than that, you might need 3 sets. Or more if you want. It's totally up to you. I have a ridiculous amount because I have to test every single one that we offer. When we design a bogu set, I always test it myself, make sure that it's all good before I put it out there in the market. So, obviously I work in the industry and it's my thing. But otherwise, yeah, if you've got the budget and inclination to have a set especially for Shinsa, that's totally fine, especially when you get towards higher grades. And if you're a very serious competitor, it's not unusual at all to have a specific set just for Shiai, just for tournaments. That's not unusual at all. But otherwise, it's really up to you. Next one. Hi Andy, I see that there are custom tsuba. I was wondering if they have any meaning or if they're just for looks. Thank you. By the way, I love the Kendo RANT videos. Thank you very much. It's not that they're custom tsuba. There's different design tsuba, like different than the normal plain plastic ones. There's no specific meaning to them at all whatsoever. They're literally just decorative, and if you like them, then you're free to use them. Next one. Can you recommend good videos of Hikitate-Geiko? I want to see how the senpai adapts their keiko to the kohai, so I can take some inspiration on how to do the same for lower grades at my dojo. So yeah, I've just need to just add a little thing in there because that's not separate. There we go. So yeah. So good videos of Hikitate-Geiko. Yeah, I'd say that the videos of Eiga Sensei are doing the keiko with the high school kids, and there's another video of, I think it's Uchimura-san doing keiko with Asano Sensei at Keisho. Let's have a little quick look. I've posted the links in the description and I posted them in reply to this as well. But let's have a quick look at those now, shall we? Okay, so I'm not sure if the sound's coming through that well on this, but this is, here you can see Eiga Sensei doing the Hikitate-Geiko. Hikitate-Geiko is when you're the senior and you are practicing with a junior and you're pulling their ability up, you're acting as a senior. So what Eiga Sensei is doing is trying his best to try and encourage the positive waza from the junior. And if the waza is timed wrong or not at a good opportunity, there's a good point here actually. He's blocking, or if he feels like they're cutting at a slightly too close mae, he's taken half a step back. If you notice there, to make them extend a little bit more. You see how he moves back a little bit more, but still in range for them to strike. Yeah, so that they really stretch themselves. And he's giving them a little bit of a push, stuff like that, to make sure that they move through quickly. You know, these sort of things are what he's doing. Okay, so he's encouraging them. He's not trying to just beat them or compete with them. Obviously, that would be nonsense. It's Eiga Sensei. He would destroy them in seconds. All right, so the point of his keiko is to and then he's giving some advice here. Okay, here's what you need to concentrate on next time. Yeah, these are just kids, don't forget. Sometimes as well, he's also practicing the waza as well, and make sure that he makes a good waza. Make sure to make the keiko interesting as well. He's not just standing there receiving the uchikomi. Yeah, that's also a good thing. Okay, so there's a link to this video in the description below. Let's have a look at the other one. So this video is this is Uchimura Ryoichi Sensei, who's a very successful competitor, and this is Asano Sensei, I think, from Keisho. There's a very big age gap here. Okay, so this is a bit different because these are two adults now, but there still is that senior junior hierarchy, and this is Hikitate-Geiko from Asano Sensei. So this is a mutual agreement between both parties here, where Uchimura Sensei knows that this is the intention of Asano Sensei. So he's also not just trying to hit him at all costs. He's trying to perform his best keiko. And you see, even though there's a big age gap, Asano Sensei is showing him areas to strike, and sometimes also making strikes as well. So the important point is the unspoken. See here, this brilliant men here from Sensei. This is largely because Asano Sensei here, you can see this. This isn't an analysis video, but things like this where Asano Sensei is kind of showing Uchimura Sensei his lead points. So it's actually here, Asano Sensei starts moving here, and Uchimura Sensei reacts to that, and that's why, again, despite there's a big age gap, this is Asano Sensei's men. Even though it looks like they hit at pretty much the same time, if you watch it in full speed, this is Sensei's men. Yeah, even the guy watching it's like, wow. Alright, so that's another good example of the Hikitate-Geiko. Again, I'll put a link down below. Okay, next one. Are gi from other budo allowed, or is it strictly listed in the rules that one must wear a kendo gi Also, what's your opinion on different coloured gi and hakama? I like the all black look. So, I don't know why you'd want to wear a gi other than a kendo gi for kendo. I'm not sure what the actual rules say. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm back. So this says Article 5, which is on page 2 of the rulebook. It's Article 5. It says quite clearly, actually, the kendo uniform shall consist of a kendo gi and a hakama. And I'll just have a look now to see if we've got a subsidiary rule about that. But I don't think there is. It just says that. It literally just says that in terms of the uniform. There is a subsidiary note on the kendogu, and that says the kendogu is referred to as regulated in figure 3. So there's an image. It basically means that you wear men kote do and tare. But as for the uniform, it specifically says kendogi and hakama. So yes, you need to wear a kendogi. You can't wear one from a different budo. Also, about other colours, the kendogi should be white, or it should be navy blue. Black isn't really appropriate for kendo. It doesn't look that good. It doesn't look as good as you think it does. It doesn't look good, to be honest. It looks kind of like, let me put it this way, really strong people don't do that, so you don't look really strong when you do it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I don't recommend that. Stick with blue, navy blue, or white. In fact, in some tournaments in Japan, they for a while there was different coloured hakama and kendogi available, like brightly coloured ones, like pink ones and blue ones and stuff like that, like baby blue and purple and stuff. But the All I don't think it was the All Japan Kendo Federation. I think it was the Kotaiden. So that's the All Japan High School PE Association, something like that. But basically, there's some shiai where it's not allowed. You have to wear the blue or the white one. That's not in here, though. That's not in here. So yeah, it's not against the rules officially, unless the tournament has a rule in place that says you're not allowed to wear a different coloured one other than navy blue or white. It just looks a bit dumb. Okay, next one. Hello, Andy. A bit of a heavy topic. I had an experience in my first dojo where the sensei and senpai were rather verbally and emotionally abusive to their students. They did not want their students to even talk or associate with Kendokai and other dojos, and only look at instructional material that they gave them. While sparing further details, suffice it to say there was a major cult of personality and power trip happening here. Yeah, I've heard of that sort of thing before. I've since left after respectfully discussing the matter with the sensei, and I joined another dojo. I've been much happier here, and the atmosphere is much more friendly and professional. They even train harder, I think. My question is, have you come across this situation personally, or know of others who have had to deal with such? Leaving the dojo was not easy, but I feel I did so in an honourable way, and I feel good about my decision. I'm just thinking this might help others to discuss. So yeah, I have seen that before. I haven't seen it in Japan, if I'm honest with you. I'm not saying it doesn't exist there. It is, like in Japan, you can't just chop and change dojos easily though. Like, you know, you have to be respectful to the people there. But I don't think I've seen it where, and I'm sure it exists, where it's like, oh, don't talk to the people from the other dojo. You know, it's like the Karate Kid, isn't it? Like, you know, the Cobra Kai, don't talk to them sort of thing. They're the enemy, sort of, you know. I'm always a little bit, you know, when you say, you know, verbally and emotionally abusive to the students, that's not good, of course. I'm not going to say anything more on that because it's not something I've seen or witnessed personally from the whoever it is you're talking about. So different people interpret that differently in Kendo. So I'm going to leave that there, actually. But in terms of the sort of cult of personality where they're kind of controlling everything and they're not letting anyone experience the stuff outside, that can't be good. I don't think that's a good situation for a Kendo dojo. And if you're in that situation and you've got the option to train at a different dojo, it might be a good idea. Next one. Hi, Andy. I'm not sure if this has been asked before. Many of the top kendokai in Japan are police officers. During your time in Japan, did you ever have the opportunity to practice with a police dojo? And if so, can you share your experience with us? Yeah, my family, my wife's father and both of her brothers are police officers and involved in kendo in the police. So yeah, I've practiced at police dojo a handful of times. Not all the time. It wasn't like a regular thing for me. Especially I've been to like the Tokuren practice like only once, I think, maybe twice, because it like it's their job, yeah. So like I'm kind of showing up at their office, like, oh, can I join in, sort of thing, and it's not like a there's other ways to practice with those people. And I was lucky as well that I was part of a kendo community that was training really hard competitively in the Jitsu-Gyodan circuit, which is the the company circuit. So the other thing is as well is I couldn't go and practice with a lot of the police Tokuren most of the time because I was working, because they do it during the daytime. But yeah, I have done so. It was a very interesting experience. The dojo is just a dojo, how you might imagine it. There's a bit of more security getting in, of course. With the Tokuren, they're the like kendo specialist guys. I mean they're on a totally different level. So yeah, it was quite hard to keep up, to be honest. And there's other police dojo as well that aren't necessarily Tokuren, so it's not like full-time kendo people. They're police officers that still do kendo practice and as part of their police work, but it's not their full-time thing. And that's more of the experience that I had, actually, for the most part. And there's a lot of very high-graded senseis there that used to be part of the Tokuren and now are retired from that, and they and there's more, it's a bit more open to the public, that as well, so they're a bit more willing to teach you and stuff like that, so that was quite good. But yeah, I've done that. I think there's a misnomer that if you go to Japan and spend a year practicing in the Tokuren dojo, like that will automatically make you better. But I'm not sure that would definitely do that, to be honest. If that was even something you could do. I haven't massively seen a case of that happening, if I'm honest with you. But I'm sure it maybe has, but I don't know. I just can't think of one on the top of my head. Next one, how do you think the federations will handle this massive backlog of students wanting to test after lockdown lists? Do you think there's really going to be a massive backlog? I'm sure there'll be a bit of a backlog, but I doubt it'll be as massive as we think. Loads of people are going to be kind of had so much time off training as well. They'll want to get back into the rhythm of training, I think, before testing. And even so, I mean, Kendo's not such a huge activity in the West, or outside of Japan, I should say, that even if there is a backlog, it's not going to like break the system. Like in Japan, yeah, they had to make extra gradings to deal with that, to deal with the backlog of people from the cancelled ones. They had to make replacement ones for the cancelled ones because they have literally like 1,000 or 2,000 people show up at a grading. Some of them, or even smaller ones that could be like over 100 people, 200, 300 people. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be as massive backlog as we need to worry about it breaking the entire system. We might just have to run a longer day of gradings. And this is the last one. Hi Andy, in light of all the issues surrounding the concerns relating to coronavirus, what advice can you give on how to clean and disinfect one's board after practice? My apologies if you've covered this before. So, I wouldn't give any specific advice on that, to be honest, other than I think someone already posted the cleaning sweat stains off your burgers. Just wipe the whole burger down like that if you can. Make sure you air it out properly. You could, if you wanted to, you could spray it with like rubbing alcohol, like a diluted rubbing alcohol. This is one I made. I don't do it. I mean, I haven't been practicing, but maybe I'll probably use this to do it. It's like like a isopropanol or something like that. And it's heavily diluted, like 1 to 10. Don't like put the raw stuff on there. And don't douse it with it either, just to spray and keep it to the futon areas. And if you've done that, don't scrub the futon afterwards, just spray it on like that. Don't spray it on the membuchi too much, but you can spray the mengane. I think that would be fine. And like I say, don't be dousing it, just give it a quick spray of that and it should be fine. I think that's it. Okay, that's it. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to shop at KendoStar, support us. Oh, there's another thing. The Teespring store. You can support us by shopping at the Teespring store. You can get some t-shirts if you want to support us. They're just fun t-shirts, to be honest. Kendo themed t-shirts. And we've got face masks as well. We've got face masks as well, as I showed you at the start of this video. You can get them. So yeah, shop at KendoStar. I think I said that already. Ring the Improve It Kendo bell, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.